So in this segment, we're going to be discussing the duality of conservative politicians, where you've got one person talking about requiring a 13% cut in public spending, or at least as planned, and you've got another one saying we've turned the corner. So let's go for the bad one first and see how this one goes.
Because these cuts amount to a 13% real terms cut in the budgets of those unprotected departments, Justice, Home Office, between 2025-26 and 2028-29.
It is a tough spending round, as I said. There's no getting away from it. But that's
the plan. That's the plan at the moment. The plan at the moment is these cuts come.
And despite the fact they keep talking about how our economy is the fastest growing economy in the G7 and all this kind of stuff, we're talking about a 13% cut to public spending, which is well into the billions. Maybe if you didn't spend so much on Dido Harding, we wouldn't be in this position. But don't worry, guys. We're turning a corner.
Taxes, under the Tories, we're now looking at a record high tax burden.
Well, we've spent a huge amount over the last few years, of course, which I think most people recognise, about £500 billion to get us through COVID and the cost of living crisis, and that has to be paid for.
Which is kind of crazy when you think about how much of it was wasted because of PPE and, like I said, Dido Harding. It must be like 50, 60 billion, potentially, at least. If it's higher, let me know if there's an actual figure on it. I think maybe the National Audit Office have got like a number, but it must be about 60, 70 bill, let's be honest.
Therefore, but if you look at the way we've done that, the average earner in the UK has got a record low in terms of level of taxes, a 50-year low in terms of their taxes, lower than the US, lower than Germany, lower than...
What's my blood waffling about? Like he's talking about middle earners, but they're getting a £300 tax cut, like... He's talking about like comparing to other countries, but again, other countries have like different living costs and other things like that. It's kind of weird to say like, oh, they're getting more money to spend, like, despite the fact that our food inflation is way higher than most other countries. Our cost of living generally is gone way higher than I think other countries. Our inflation rate was above 20% since COVID, or since about 2021. So my guy talking about middle class earners are doing better now is complete nonsense.
France. That's how the Prime Minister's dealt with this. That's how the Chancellor's dealt with this. So
the
for many
IFS
people,
say
taxes are lower than ever.
The IFS says income growth in the last 15 years has been the worst in generations. 15 years, that's...
We've talked about an Ed Conway graph where he talked about disposable income since 2019 to kind of where we are now, 24. It's actually gone down versus the last kind of parliament, so 2017 to 2019. That's the only time, I think, in the last 40, 50 odd years that it's actually gone down in a parliamentary term, which is nuts when you think about it. So the argument he's making here, again, is just nonsense.
The Tory rule.
It's been very tough, but you've got to take into account the fact those are affected by the COVID crisis and affected by the cost of living crisis. That is true, but we have turned the corner.
How could you say you turned the corner when we're looking at a 13% cut in public spending? That makes zero sense. How can you say we've turned the corner? If anything, we've turned the corner into Crime Alley, where Bruce's parents were killed. It seems like that's where we're going at this rate. It doesn't. It's just this man is not in reality.
And people will increasingly feel the benefits of that, of a growing economy, of inflation under control. Those are the things that really hit people, particularly those on...
Again, a growing economy that just come back off the back of a technical recession. Again, the economy is not doing great. And this thing Ben Chu talked about recently. The US has had around 9% growth since the pandemic. We've had 2% growth. So, this idea, this is just endless just lies about how well the economy is doing and how well people are doing in this country.
Low incomes.
We've had such bad inflation, amongst other things. Like this guy here, they've wheeled him out a lot because he kind of has the positive spin on it, Kevin Hollandrake. But like this is the reality of it. Talking billions of pounds worth of spending cuts for the public sector. This is the cold hard reality, and that guy can try and spin it as much as he wants, but they're gonna have to find the money from somewhere because they don't want to increase borrowing. They don't want to push our debt to GDP back up to around 100%. So they're gonna do more cuts, which is gonna cause a bigger economic drag. But this is the reality of the Conservative government. They don't care about this kind of stuff, and they will lie to you saying that we're turning a corner and we're doing better. It's just wild to me, honestly. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Support the channel on Patreon if you can. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.